All right, get ready to dive deep into the world of climates. Today, we're going to be decoding weather patterns.
Decoding weather patterns.
Yeah, using this thing called the Köppen Climate Classification System.
Ah,
So think of it as a giant map of all the planet's different weather personalities.
yeah.
And then we're going to explore how those personalities might be changing
Okay.
thanks to, global warming.
Right.
We're using a chapter from your geography textbook today. So,
Buckle up.
yeah,
Lots of detail.
get ready.
Yeah. It's amazing how much variety there is in Earth's climates.
Right.
We've got everything from those steamy rainforests to, like scorching deserts.
Yeah.
And Köppen's system is what helps us kind of organize all that complexity.
So it's like a filing system for climates.
It is.
So that means if, I know a region's Köppen code, I can just, instantly picture what it's like there.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Köppen uses a code of letters,
Okay.
kind of like a secret language almost, to categorize the different climates based on, temperature and rainfall.
Yeah.
So we have A for tropical, B for dry, C for warm temperate,
Okay.
D for cold snow forest, and E for polar.
Okay, so, each letter tells you something
Exactly.
about what to expect.
Yeah, just by looking at the code, you can get like a really basic understanding of a region's climate.
Okay, so I'm looking at my notes here,
Okay.
and I see A is for a tropical wet climate.
Yes.
So that basically means like a rainforest.
You got to think Amazon rainforest, hot, humid, and rain.
Gotcha.
That's AIF in a nutshell.
Perfect.
But
Yeah.
here's where the system gets really, really cool.
Okay.
It's not just about those many letters.
Okay.
There are also subcategories,
What?
smaller letters.
Oh, wow.
They give you even more detail about a climate's personality.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's not just tropical, it's a very specific kind of tropical.
Precisely.
Wow.
So you might see like
Oh, okay.
for a monsoon climate,
Mm-hmm.
think intense bursts of rain, almost like clockwork.
Oh, wow.
Or, a wet and dry tropical climate with distinct seasons.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
My mental picture of tropical just got way more interesting.
It's much more nuanced.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so Köppen system, it's all about understanding, these natural climate patterns.
Right.
But our deep dive is also about, how humans are messing things up, impacting global temperatures and stuff.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, Earth's climate has always been kind of in a state of change, right?
Of course. Yeah.
We've had ice ages and warm periods way before humans even came along.
You're absolutely right. The Earth's climate is a dynamic system.
Yeah.
It's constantly changing.
Mm.
What's different now is the speed and the scale of the change we're seeing.
Okay.
And a lot of that can be attributed to human activity.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Let's do it.
My textbook explains this greenhouse effect thing,
Right.
but I don't know if there's a better way to think about it. They just say it's like adding extra blankets to the Earth's atmosphere. I get it, but
Yeah. No, it's not super clear.
no, it's not super helpful.
How about this?
Okay.
Imagine a car
Okay.
parked out in the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and the windows are rolled up.
Okay.
The sunlight enters the car, right?
Yeah.
Warms up the interior,
Yeah.
and then some of that heat gets trapped inside.
Right.
That's kind of like what happens with the greenhouse effect.
Oh, okay.
Certain gases in the atmosphere,
Uh-huh.
like carbon dioxide,
Mm-hmm.
they act like a car windows,
Interesting.
trapping heat from the sun,
Yeah.
and that warms the planet.
Okay.
The more these gases we release,
Yeah.
the more heat gets trapped,
Right.
and the warmer the Earth gets.
That makes way more sense. So driving cars using electricity,
Yeah, all that stuff.
all the stuff we use.
That powers our modern lives.
Yeah.
It's contributing.
To the greenhouse effect.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not just carbon dioxide.
Oh, no.
We also have things like methane from agriculture
Right.
and nitrous oxide from fertilizers,
Okay.
all contributing to this warming trend.
So it's not looking good. Is this global warming thing actually happening?
Right.
Or is it still up for debate?
The evidence is pretty clear.
Okay.
Temperature records going back centuries show a significant warming trend.
Really?
Yeah, in the 20th century.
Okay.
And that trend has only accelerated in recent decades.
Wow.
Yeah.
My textbook mentions 1998
Yeah.
as a particularly warm year,
Yeah.
possibly the warmest in the entire millennium.
That's what they say.
What makes that year so important?
Well, on its own, one warm year might not be that alarming,
Yeah.
but when you look at 1998,
Right.
in the context of the overall warming trend,
Uh-huh.
It starts to paint a more concerning picture.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a blip.
Yeah.
It was a sign of things to come.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this warming trend, keeps going, what kind of impact are we actually talking about? Like, my textbook mentions things like, rising sea levels, more extreme weather events,
Yeah.
but it's kind of hard to grasp what that would actually look like.
It's true. Those terms can seem a bit abstract.
Yeah.
So imagine coastal cities
Okay.
dealing with way more frequent and severe flooding
Right.
as those sea levels rise.
Hmm.
Picture entire agricultural regions struggling with these prolonged droughts
Oh, wow.
or intense storms that just wipe out crops.
Yeah.
These are the very real consequences that we're facing.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
So is there anything we can do to slow this warming trend down?
Yeah.
I remember reading about something called the Kyoto Protocol in my textbook.
The Kyoto Protocol
Yeah.
is an international agreement
Okay.
that aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
So that's good.
It was a big step in the right direction,
Uh-huh.
but it's not a perfect solution.
Right.
Some of the biggest emitters, haven't fully committed to it. And even for the countries that are on board,
Yeah.
meeting those reduction targets is a huge challenge.
Okay, so even with something like the Kyoto Protocol in place, it still feels like such a massive problem.
Yeah.
And it's kind of overwhelming to think about what I, as one person, can do to make a difference.
I understand that feeling,
Yeah.
but individual actions do add up.
Okay.
Think about making small changes in your daily life,
Mm-hmm.
using energy-efficient appliances,
Okay.
biking or walking instead of driving whenever you can,
Right.
reducing your consumption of meat,
Uh-huh.
even just being mindful of how much energy you're using.
Okay.
Every little bit helps.
So it's kind of like recycling, right?
Yeah,
One person recycling might not seem like much,
Right.
but if everyone does it, it makes a difference.
exactly. And beyond those individual actions, there's also the power of collective action.
Okay.
So supporting policies that promote renewable energy,
Mhm.
sustainable agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
and responsible consumption, those things can create systemic change on a much larger scale.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Good.
It's not just about feeling helpless.
Yeah.
It's about finding ways to participate in the solution,
Exactly.
both big and small.
Yeah.
It's funny. We've been talking about all this pretty serious stuff,
Yeah.
but it's making me think about Koppin's system in a whole new way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those climate zones he mapped out, they're not just static lines on a map, right? They could shift and change as the planet warms.
That's a great observation.
Yeah.
It highlights how interconnected everything really is.
Right.
As those global temperatures rise, we could see those climate zones expanding,
Wow.
contracting, even migrating.
Oh, wow.
Imagine those AIF rainforest regions
Yeah.
shrinking as temperatures increase and rainfall patterns change.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, and it's not just about these abstract climate zones either, right?
Right.
It's about all the plants and animals
Of course.
that depend on those specific climates to survive.
Absolutely, climate change disrupts entire ecosystems.
Wow.
We could see species going extinct, agricultural yields declining, entire ways of life being altered as those climate zones shift.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
It has.
We started with this cool system for classifying climates,
Yeah.
and we've ended up talking about the future of our planet.
It's a reminder that we're not just observers of the natural world.
Yeah.
We're active participants.
Mm-hmm.
Our choices have consequences,
Right.
and those consequences can be felt way beyond our immediate surroundings.
It's a lot to take in,
Yeah, it is.
but knowledge is power, right?
It is.
Understanding these issues is the first step towards finding solutions.
Yeah, exactly.
So where do we even go from here? We talked about the science. We
Right.
talked about, potential consequences.
Yeah.
And some of the things that people are doing, like the Kyoto Protocol. But it still feels like a huge problem.
It is a huge problem.
Yeah.
There's no denying that.
Are we doing enough?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that we're not powerless.
Okay.
We can make choices
Right.
that contribute to a more sustainable future.
So you mentioned, individual actions like reducing our carbon footprint.
Right.
And then those big picture solutions like the Kyoto Protocol.
Yeah.
But is that enough to actually turn things around?
Well, that's a question that scientists and policymakers and activists, they're all grappling with that every single day.
Yeah.
The Kyoto Protocol was a significant step,
Mm-hmm.
But it's clear that we need more ambitious goals
Okay.
and more widespread global cooperation
Right.
to really tackle this challenge.
It feels like there's a lot of debate about what the right solutions are,
There is.
and even some disagreement about, how serious the problem is.
Right.
How do we navigate all that and figure out what to actually do?
That's where critical thinking comes in.
Okay.
We need to be able to evaluate information from a bunch of different sources, consider different perspectives,
Right.
and ultimately form our own informed opinions.
Yeah.
And then we need to act on those opinions.
So it's not just about understanding like, the science of climate change. It's
Yeah.
about like engaging with the issue personally, making decisions and taking action.
Exactly.
That-
Whether it's voting for leaders who prioritize climate action,
Right.
or supporting businesses that are committed to sustainability,
Mm-hmm.
or even just talking with friends and family about these issues.
Yeah.
We all have a role to play.
This deep dive has given me a lot to think about.
Me too.
We started by trying to decode, the Earth's diverse climate zones,
Yeah.
and we ended up talking about like the future of our planet.
It's all interconnected, isn't it?
Yeah.
Understanding these climate patterns, it helps us appreciate just how delicate the balance of our planet is,
Right.
and how important it is to protect it.
So for everyone listening out there,
We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity
of course.
and maybe even inspired you to take action.
Yeah, definitely.
So keep learning, keep asking questions,
Yeah.
and keep the conversation going.
Because the future of our planet depends on all of us
Absolutely.
working together to create a more sustainable world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.